right, you have to scoot over. Guys, you have to scoot over. Oh my God. Oh, good boy. Wow. Hi, everybody. So yeah, sorry, this video is a little bit different. I can't even think right now. I am so inspired and so excited. I went to Rick Beato's Beato Unedited show last night. I flew to Atlanta. I watched the show. I have to tell you about this. It is life-changing, all right? I have been really skeptical of Rick in the past. I have had issues with some of his content. This show has completely changed my perspective on him, and it's going to change the channel itself. I am going to start running I'm getting some guitars, first of all, and I think I'm going to be primarily using modular for guitar processing from now on. Going to go in a more, rock orientation, I think. It's just, I have to tell you about the show. Look, I could say so much more about stuff, but I just want to tell you about the show, okay? So this will kind of be like a recap as best as I can remember, and I'll try to provide visuals where I can to help you understand what happened, okay? So spoilers, right? Like spoilers. If you want to experience this for yourself, and I suggest that you do not watch this video. Just petition Rick to do another one of these as soon as possible so that you can experience it, okay? So the show starts off on a black stage, and it was about like 20 minutes after start time that like something finally happened, and I figured it was like an error, but I think Rick just wanted us to really drink in the space and feel the sort of like darkness and really have that sort of like settle us in the space. And then you hear this sort of dissonant orchestra start to build up. And at first I'm like, what is that? What is that? And it was the orchestra sting from A Day in the Life by the Beatles, There's that sort of dissonant orchestra swell. So it's that, verbatim. And these spotlights come up, and I'm like, what is going on? And it's a giant, I'm sorry for the language, but it's a giant vagina, like probably 10 or 12 feet high. And as the music swells, we get more and more light, and you sort of start to hear this baby crying. And then as he reaches the peak from this giant vagina, Rick Beato slides out, and he is completely naked. He's covered in this like sort of like gel goop stuff, and he's crying, like he's actually crying, and it melds with the baby crying, and everything just kind of like swirls together, and it stops, just like in A Day in the Life by the Beatles. And that's when we get the first song. I haven't even mentioned this yet. It's a musical. This show is autobiographical, and it's a musical. This is where we get the first song, and it's called Mama, They Just Don't Make 'Em Like They Used To. And this song sets us up for the vibe of the whole show. It's kind of like Bohemian Rhapsody in scope and in feel. Two themes. Like one is that like they don't make music like they used to, that music isn't as good as it used to be. And two, that Rick Beato himself, they don't make men like him anymore. Like he is sort of like one of the last real men and real voices for music and for real art, And it's so well done, and like it really sets up the vibe for the whole show. So from there we go through like pivotal moments of Rick's life. And this is art, right? So like I'm not really here to question art, but there's a lot of masturbating. Like in almost every scene that we go through Rick's life, he does masturbate. And at first I was put off by it, but then I realized whenever he was masturbating, he was listening to like a bad piece of music. And it was like he was combining like sexual guilt with guilt over enjoying or at least experiencing the trauma of bad music. So anytime it was like a pop song or a rap song, like he was crying and he was masturbating. And after like the 6th or 7th time we saw this, I started to understand what he was saying. And I was like, wow, that is deep. That is really, really deep. And that sets up his sort of formative years, or at least as like a quick run through of his formative years. Through this, Rick starts to have like reoccurring nightmares, and we start to like, you hear it at first, you can hear it in the vocal that comes in. There's sort of like it starts to kind of like get like The Wall, like Pink Floyd's The Wall, a little psychedelic here. You start to like experience this sort of like theme that comes through, in Puss in Boots, how there's the whistle from the wolf, Like it's kind of like that, except it's like this auto-tuned voice, and you hear it sort of like come in, like do the same thing. I wish I could. How did it go? Like boo boo, but it's like auto-tuned. It's very, very spooky. Anyways, he's experiencing this in these nightmares that he's having, and sometimes he actually is masturbating while he's having the nightmare, and it's powerful. Finally, after this like sequence, we are introduced to the main antagonist of the story, and it actually is Mr. Autotune. Rick believes that Mr. Autotune is real, like that he's a real villain and like is out to destroy all music and all art. We don't know at this point whether or not Mr. Autotune is real. Like it's kind of like The Island, you know, spoilers for The Island, the movie The Island, where we don't know if, I can't even remember a famous actor's name because like Beato's got me all fucking twisted. Leonardo DiCaprio. We don't know if Leonardo DiCaprio is like crazy or not. And that's really what the Mr. Autotune thing is set up like. Like we don't know whether or not this is like a real antagonist in the real world or whether Rick is completely making it up. But it doesn't matter because to Rick, it's real. It's really happening. So there's this really intense sort of Lynchian thing going on where we experience no compartmentalization or no separation between reality and sort of the unconscious. I think it's a really, really powerful storytelling technique, and I'm really, really glad that Rick employed it. It's amazing. There's a lot about this show that reminds me of Bo Burnham's Inside. First of all, like he directed, did all the lighting, all the music, all of it, except for all the music that he licensed from the Beatles and stuff like that, and Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin and, you know, all the licensed tracks. But he did all the set design, he did all the music, the lyrics, and lighting and visuals. It's pretty much the same level of impactful that Bo Burnham's Inside had on me. And I never thought that would happen, you know? Like, that's amazing. So we get to then the dark part of the hero's journey. Like, I think the stress of having like perfect hearing and understanding music so well, and nobody else understands it like him, and also the stress of this Mr. Autotune sort of harbinger of the destruction of all art, leads Beato to having a nervous breakdown, and he snaps, and he ends up going to an insane asylum. And it's pretty dark here, pretty spooky. Like his girlfriend, who is played by Mary Spender, like keeps on showing up and trying to, you know, convince him that, you know, Mr. Autotune's only in your head. Mr. Autotune can't hurt you. You need to stop talking about Mr. Autotune and these like visions that you're having because I want you to, you know, get out of the insane asylum and join me on Nebula, which was a weird plug for Nebula, but like you got to make money somehow, right? It actually took about 5 minutes to like have this conversation about like Nebula and its network and why it was a good thing for people to join up to. You know, the audience didn't really care. You gotta make that bag somehow, you know? So she actually gets really frustrated with him and she leaves. And they're both like mad at each other. And you can tell Beato is just like at his nadir, right? Like he's stuck in this insane asylum. He's having these visions, and now the love of his life, he doesn't know if it's real or not. And this was so unexpected. But like, you should have heard the audience when this happened. They wheel in White Sea Studio. You know the guy, White Sea Studios? They wheel him in a wheelchair, and he's wearing a straitjacket, and he's making all those YouTube faces. Like, it works perfectly in this situation. And they wheel him in, and they leave him there. And like, you know, like, why is this happening? He breaks out of his straitjacket, like he looked like, you know, 12 Monkeys style. He's like, he wasn't ever really in it, you know. He's smarter than that. And his face goes all serious, and like, he turns to this piano and he plays probably one of the most beautiful love songs I've ever heard, called This Love Ain't Snake Oil. And it's sort of like you have Beato in the insane asylum in a spotlight, and you have Mary Spender over in her apartment in a spotlight, and they duet together even though they aren't together. And it is beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. And then, of course, at the end of that, like the guards come back in, and White Sea Studio starts making the faces again, like he's crazy. Oh, you know, and then they wheel him away. And that's how Beato gets out of the insane asylum. He escapes while all that is happening. It's really fun. So Rick escapes. You know, like at this point, he's convinced. Like he knows, and we know, that Mr. Autotune is actually real, and he goes to Mr. Autotune's like headquarters, this big evil skyscraper, just like lightning and like all these like auto-tuned chorus sounds, like ba ba da ba da ba ba da da da, but it's all auto-tuned. It's powerful, and so he stands in front of the building. He's like, "I'm coming to get you," and he goes in and he gets in the elevator to go up to the 69th floor. And while he's in there, he has this like moment and he sings this song. He's like, "Are you there, God? It's me, Rick." And God duets with him. God sounds a lot like John Lennon. We don't actually see God. It's sort of a voice from, above, obviously. So what happens is the "Are you there, God? It's me, Rick" turns into a reprise of they don't make them like they used to, the opening song, right? What happens is God sings to Rick that like, "I'll never make a man as perfect as you again." And I absolutely remember the lyrics for this. I haven't written down. I want to sing you this part because it is powerful. So God sings, "Well, I never did believe in perfection until I made the erection that made a man, and that man, Rick, is you. I'll never question the direction, and I'll always have an affection because they just don't make them like they used to. They just don't make them like you." Like, oh God, I'm going to fucking tear up. It was beautiful. It was amazing. All right. So I don't want to spoil the ending, even if you watch this, because I think that you really should go see the live show. But let's just say that when Rick gets to the top of the tower and confronts Mr. Autotune, he does win. I mean, obviously, and he does it with a little help from his friends, if you know what I'm saying. I think you do. And that is Rick Unedited. Truly much more than I expected. So much more than I would have ever guessed that this man could do. Again, life-changing, inspirational. I left it with a completely new lease on life. I think that you should go see it. And I think you should talk to Rick about taking it on the road. I think that, I heard rumors at least, that what he was going to do was, if he was going to take it on the road, he would have, different YouTubers from each state join him. So you could get like Adam Neely doing These Chords Are Made of Gold, or you could get Jacob Collier playing on Funky White Boy. The possibilities are really endless. The show is solid as hell as it is. We don't need guests, but I just think that we're talking about the next Les Miserables here, I think. This is amazing. That's enough. I needed to make a quick video about this. I'm not going to have more videos like this, I promise. This is just a one-off thing because, again, inspirational. Rick, thank you. Thank you for everything that you do. And yeah, this has been Jeremy, Red Means Recording. I'll see you with my guitar next time we talk, all right? I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care.